Hey everybody, how's it going? Kyle here again with
Alex
and
Nick.
So yeah, we're back again. We're gonna keep doing this. It looks like I was super nervous about just dropping this after episode 3, but we didn't, and that's great. That gives me great joy. You have no, I have anxiety disorder. Anyways, you know, let's get on into it. Sentai, Ninja 35. We see some really cool things with Key Ninja Chosetsu. That was neat.
That was actually. It's nice to see someone besides just Takaharu using the brace
Yes.
thingy. There we go. My brain isn't working. I have hangover.
The Chosetsu brace. So yeah, we see, you know, Kinji's doing some weird shit with the Kitsune. Kyuemon. Kyuemon's not dead, which we all saw coming.
Surprise, bitches! Ever thought this in the last
anyone who's ever seen Sentai knows.
You can't just kill off someone like that so easily.
Not dead. That's just not gonna happen. So Kyuemon comes back and says, "Oh, hey, if you want all of this power out of you, let's go get this sword," which Nagi had just happened to look up earlier.
Yeah. Only in Sentai.
Only in Sentai. And Power Rangers and Kamen Rider and really any tokusatsu, really any kid show like this. Anyways, and Nagi finds Kinji and follows him, and there's some weird things happening, and Kinji and everyone else learns the value of Nagi trusting him. And then the end of the episode, Kinji turns into the werewolf.
They have nipple
Son
tassels.
of a bitch!
They have nipple tassels. I can never get over that because it's so weird that they have nipple tassels. Like, it's just weird to me. I'm sorry.
Son of a bitch. Okay, so Kinji is now the werewolf that he was fighting against in the first place.
His dad and his brother.
But we did get to see Key Ninja Chosetsu. So, nice. You know, something good came out of this episode.
It was also nice because, you know, the episode was focusing on Kinji and Nagi and how, you know, even though they didn't really have any information about what the fuck was going on, they were like, we're going to trust Nagi because
it wasn't the Takaharu show anymore, and I'm so thankful for this.
Like, because seriously, we need more episodes like that. We're just like, oh, hey, this one character has a thing. Let's focus on them and not on Takaharu for the entire 24 minutes.
Yeah. Nick knows because he's still going through the episodes. He's like on episode 14 or 15. And it's still the Takaharu show, but it becomes not that later, and it's great.
Takaharu show.
Really, it just there was some really great things going on in this, and next episode, I think either next episode or the one after that, we'll see you know, Kinji coming back as regular, and he'll get his final form, which is a poncho. He gets a fucking gold poncho. And that's his final form.
Don't diss the poncho.
And the demon sword turns into a new sword that looks a lot like the Ichibanto, but it's red, and the buttons are the same, but they say different things. I looked up
it has a trigger too.
Yeah. Well, so do the Ichibantos.
They do?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see
that's
it.
That's how they work.
I didn't see it then. Okay, sorry. Probably because they have their hands over it the entire time, so you never see it.
Right. They have the same buttons, but they do different sounds.
Different things, yeah.
And apparently the what's cool is and we'll see the shuriken in the show too, but the shuriken that comes with the sword, the new sword, is the star pattern on it is 6, and each
point is one of
the different symbols. Yeah.
Each of them have.
Yep. Oh, so that's cool. Nice sounds, fun sword. I'm not gonna get that one. No, not at all. Not gonna get that one.
Oh, I'm just
that one's kind of
surprised.
dumb. I don't know. I don't like a lot of the
swords. The kids are playing with swords. They are bleeding. They are dead.
I don't like a lot of the roleplay toys. I prefer,
you want the
as you guys know, I prefer the mechs. I want the gun saber. That's one of the roleplay toys I think is really cool.
I want the Gangun hand because that's cool. I'm still laughing at the fact that it's called the Bang Bang hand.
Yeah.
The Bang Bang.
Gonna finger you.
Finger bang. I don't watch Yu Yu Hakusho.
So,
Huh?
I feel like it was a good episode.
It was a very good episode.
It was a good episode.
It's nice that they're finally pulling away. Like, hey, you know, we have 5 other characters that aren't Takaharu. Let's focus on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they
5?
all...
No. We have 5 other main characters, plus Gramps, plus Tosan. They're Takaharu and Fuka's dad.
Uncle Dad.
Plus all the bad guys. Like, they could do something with the bad guys, too, because they've done that in previous years.
That would be pretty funny, honestly.
With, you remember in Gokaiger, with the that weird love triangle that was going on?
With who?
With, who was the lady who always pulled out the gun and made the monsters big?
Oh,
I can't remember her face.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? And
bitch.
she was, like, in love with
Red Car Ranger,
Yeah.
and then Jealous Shitto. His name is literally Jealous Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that was
Because
funny.
he was jealous.
He was a jealous little shit.
He was. So, you know, they've done things like that before. They can do it again. They will do it again.
That would be very awesome.
Because I said so.
Huh.
Of course. I think that's how it works. You can dream. Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. I almost died. So, anyways,
You got better though. You got
moving
better.
on to Ghost, where all 3 of us can sort of chime in. The Castle in the Sky. Okay, so synopsis real quick. You know, Takeru is still like trying to figure all this shit out, and Gramps is being
A prick.
Basically, yeah.
the usual sort of like, oh, hey, I know everything, but I'm not going to tell you anything until you absolutely have to know. We see Kamen Rider Spectre at the very beginning of the episode, and at the very, very end.
It's nice that we don't just see just the hand. We saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again. I fucking love his suit.
Yeah, it's pretty great. The heart monitor all over his body.
EKG lines. We actually are going to see him transform next episode.
Yes.
And I was right. EKG and whatnot are going to be a main thing for him because his jingle says the Doki Doki Ghost, and anyone who knows like 2 words Japanese knows that's the Japanese onomatopoeia for heart beating.
Just like Garo Garo is frogs.
Frogs riveting.
Oh.
Garo 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 Garo, which is why the ninjas have the Garo Garo frog guns.
Now I know what that means.
Yes.
Yay.
Garo 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 Garo. Anyways,
Yay for learning.
so we see Newton in this episode.
We do.
Although it's very like haphazard as to how they came into, like, they show the one scene of him next to Shinosuke
with the phone.
But there's no real, like, explanation or expansion on that. It's just like, oh, hey, I remember that. And then Yurasen's like, there's no time, just do it.
Just transform.
And I'm over here.
And then he's
I
like,
think they are gonna,
what do I do with this? He just doesn't
gonna,
know.
I think they're going to expand on it more in the movie, probably. It's like, oh, hey, I remember you. I remember you. What's going on here? I hope they do, because, like, from what we remember from the Drive finale, it's, you know, he was going to borrow the ghost icon for, you know, a miracle, because, you know, if you hold them, miracles can happen. Hooray, miracles. Sorry. But, you know, when Shinosuke was like, I don't need this, and I guess Yurasen was just like, I'm going to hold on to this because we might not need it yet, and I don't want him fucking up somehow, because, you know, Yurasen's a dick. I think we've established that.
Yeah.
He's a tiny cycloptic ghost.
Well, so
dick.
is Gramps. Like, everyone who knows anything is just awful.
They're kind of dicks, yeah. But I was nice to see him actually transform, and I'm going to say it again. Normally, any blue-colored form, I love it automatically. I am still kind of about Newton just because I don't get the big boxing glove shits. Yeah. But I like how it works. One side repels, one side attracts.
That was pretty cool.
So it's like you bring
the attraction of my left hand repels my right hand. And maybe that's a Japanese thing. If anyone knows, please let us know.
That. I do like the jingle for it, though. It's the apple fell down. Was it pulled? That's a funny jingle.
That was a fucking jingle right there. That was a good one. So
I hope we get to see Spectre use Nobunaga next episode, because just from the ghost hoodies we saw, you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you could tell that he was gonna get Nobunaga because Nobunaga comes out and he's got the two little beardies instead of the one.
Yeah.
Which I did not notice until I saw like a review of the Ghost Change figures.
Yeah.
And on the hoods that come with him and in other packs, there's a little beardy. That is supposed to be his horn, and I'm like, that's not show accurate. And then I watch episode 2 again. It's like, oh wait, that is show accurate.
So
they have a little beardy.
One thing I do want to know is where do they store the icons? Because I don't think they have pockets in those things.
Oh no, it's hammer space. It's hammer space within the belt.
And then my second question is, let's say Spectre stole Edison.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna stay with him until he steals it back?
Now, that's a good question.
Because I think it's one of those things that, like, because, you know, to make an icon, the ghost hoodie goes into the driver, and I think that locks it to the driver.
Mm-hmm.
As in, even if someone goes 1,000 miles away with this thing, if you need the icon, right there.
Well, I mean, it goes into hammer space, so it's not like it's sitting on a desk and then he calls it. It's like just inside of his belt.
Well, what if someone like stole it?
That would be a whole different thing.
I think it's one of those things that's like it's connected to this, so no matter how far away it goes, you can just teleport it back. Like, boom.
I don't know. I can't. I don't have an opinion yet either way. I want to see a couple more episodes before forming any of those.
I kind of want one of those things to happen because I saw a scan of one episode and it's what's his face, Spectre, using Edison, so they can use the other person's icons, obviously. And I'm wondering, did he steal it, or was he like, "Hey, we need 2 marksmen. Here you go."
Okay,
That's
see.
exciting.
It'll be neat to
wait.
to
Nobunaga
see.
is a marksman class icon.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, his symbol on is 2 overcrossed muskets.
Oh.
I haven't.
So I guess he's like, I think we needed like a lightning base.
And it's interesting that Nobunaga showed up here because I just recently watched the Kamen Rider X Kamen Rider Double and O's movie War Core movie, and Nobunaga shows up in that as a character.
He's the guy who gave him the orange reptile medals, right?
No.
Oh, different person.
He was created. Well, spoilers, but whatever.
I don't care.
He was created by the company.
Konami Foundation?
Yes, out of metals. They found like his remains and they remade him out of metals because the guy who runs the company is so obsessed with
birthdays.
Not birthdays.
Greed.
Greed and just those sort of feelings in general of ambition.
That's the one where we see Kamen Rider Aqua and Poseidon, right?
Nope.
Different one then.
Different one.
So
I have no idea what's going on.
That's the one where we learn about how Skull came to be, and then Nobunaga, and then Kamen Rider Core, which is this huge Kamen Rider made out of fire that looks like Ichigo.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
he's like 5 stories tall.
Peekaboo.
And then when he needs to, his legs turn into a bike.
What?
So he becomes a centaur of a bike. It's
Bike
pretty.
tar.
Watch it. It's great.
Somewhere out there, some deranged furry's got an idea.
Is this on Plex? This
Yeah,
movie?
all of the specials that I have right now are on Plex.
I've watched most of them.
Yeah. I never watched this because this sounds
So
awesome.
before we get too far, because I still have more to say about movies, but before I get too far, Nick, let's hear some thoughts on some newbie stuff.
Ghost is so awesome.
I know.
I love Ghost so much. Spectre was pretty. I liked his horns. He was a little horny.
I would though. That's actually video. I don't want to risk damaging it.
The phone, the Cobra phone.
The mobile Cobra.
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I really am liking the mobile gadgets, the ghost
The
gadgets,
ghost gadgets
and how
are
they're
pretty cool.
designed.
Yeah.
The mobile Cobra. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be more smartphone, but it's more flip phone.
Yeah, it's more flip phony.
I saw a review on the mobile Cobra and the Gun hand,
Big bang hand.
and how they combine. It's a sickle.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's so great.
For his Tutankhamun form.
Yes. Yes, bae. Yes.
So this is one of those things that like I know Sending is obviously the one giving them these gadgets. So I'm like, does he plan ahead who's getting who? Does he like use some kind of godly magic to break it up. So he gets who gets whoever is kind of chosen already.
So Senin knew that Spectre was there.
Yeah.
Senin knew that Takeru wasn't the only Kamen Rider, but did he give him all of his stuff, or does he just know about it?
Oh.
True, because he did give the Condor phone, the belts, and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm still going with my coma theory that for the brother, so we're still on that. And it could be one of those things that like maybe he made a deal to bring his brother out of the coma, and he's like, I'll bring him out of the coma if you collect all these ghost icons. You gotta do all this for me, and then I'll bring your brother out of his coma.
Maybe it's the other way around. You have to collect all these icons, and we'll bring your brother back.
That's what I said.
That's what you just said.
Okay, sorry. I thought you meant it backwards. Like, he
Or
would do it first,
Okay.
and then collect, but he'd have to collect, and then he'd bring
No.
it to go.
And we do know that if you collect all 15 luminary icons, you get a wish. So maybe that's what he told him. Hey, if you do this for me, collect them all, you can use the wish for yourself.
That's gonna be interesting.
Or maybe it's the weird bad guys that we know nothing about. Maybe they were like, hey, here's this thing. Do you want your brother alive again?
Do this
what
for
we
us.
say. Which might be why they're fighting. Who knows? We'll see how it
It's
goes.
just because like right now we don't really know anything about Spectre other than what he looks like,
Yeah.
and that he has Nobunaga now.
Yeah.
I do want to see if maybe there is a connection between him and Mysterious Guy and Hot Mysterious Guy. That's how I identify them. There's Hot Mysterious Guy, and then there's Old Mysterious Guy, who is just shortened to Mysterious Guy.
Ninja?
How do you...
Chugging
we've
along.
watched through 14 now. You're still just...
Chugging slowly.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah.
There's some series that are real easy to get into.
Yeah.
And there's some series where if you don't do it from the start and like go episode by episode, it is the hardest thing ever.
Ghost, super easy. Ghost, I'm so excited for Ghost. And Ninja is like,
Ghost, if you hadn't been watching it from the beginning, you could probably easily just get into it after all of it had ended.
Just be like, I'm gonna watch all of Ghost. Marathon time.
But
The Ninja.
you're fighting a ninja so hard. You're fighting it so hard.
But I'm trying. And Star Ninja makes it much
Okay,
easier.
but you're not. But no one can blame you. Especially in these first 20 episodes.
Star Ninja.
Star Ninja.
I like Star Ninja.
You only have a little way to go before it becomes good again.
Yay! How true is that?
True.
Okay.
Yeah, like
true.
once they're no longer after they get Surfer Maru, basically. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, once they get Surfer Maru and Kinji's a part of the team and whatnot, then it becomes because he's around.
Yeah.
And it draws a bit of focus off of Takaharu, finally.
It's less about Kinji trying to kill Takaharu, even though he's trying to be killing everybody, but he's really just trying to kill Takaharu.
Because he's the only one who actually will put up with it.
Yeah.
Remember the time he tried to attack Kasumi and she put him in that shadow bind? And he's like, oh no, when did you do this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it if Kasumi ends up winning because, no offense, but Takaharu's the
Takaharu's gonna get it.
leader, but she's the one with the actual brain.
Takaharu's gonna get it.
She's the one with the head on her shoulders.
So back to movies, because I did just watch a bunch of stuff. I'm almost done with Go Busters. I have episodes 46 through 50 left, so only a couple episodes left. I did watch, so I watched Go Busters versus Go Kaiger, and that was a good one. That was a real good one. And then I watched, right after that, I watched Tokume Sentai Go Busters Returns versus Dobutsu Sentai Go Busters. And that was super weird. Mostly for the fact that they're really in that movie playing up the fact that they're not a traditional Sentai.
Yeah.
They're really hammering it home that they are very, very different and they could have been the same. And here's what it could have been. But it feels a little cheap.
To do that in the movie, or
in the movie, it feels like they're more poking fun at other Sentais than showing that they are different. Because they're animal based, so there's red cheetah, blue gorilla, and so on and so forth. But during their transformation, you don't hear the normal sounds of the animal that they're portraying. You hear goats and cows and sheep, chickens, as they transform.
That's right, like a farm. That was funny.
It's you can parody, but I feel like that's a little too far.
Yeah.
They're really more saying, oh, hey, this is silliness for silliness sake, instead of this is silly, but it's fun. So I feel like in that way it was a little bad. It wasn't as good as it could have been. They could have taken themselves a little more seriously. But overall, funny. So funny. Hella funny. Moo, exactly. Hiromu. They do the whole regular... And what was cool about it, too, was they do the whole regular, like, start of a Sentai thing. Where it's like, no one knows what's going on, and they're all just going about their lives. And then something happens where monsters come in, and then one guy or two guys knows that this was gonna happen, and they're like, now you have to become a Sentai. And then they just go for it. They were just like, yeah, sure, why not?
Why not?
Personally, if that happened to me, I'd be like, sure, why not?
Instead of what Go Busters did originally, which was, they knew they were gonna have to do it, and they were dreading it the whole fucking time, and they just didn't want to have to deal with anything ever, because it brought back memories of their dead parents.
Oh.
Fun.
It's a whole thing.
To be honest, I didn't really they were dead until after they got into the subdimension the first time.
Yeah, I know. I was on a tangent and I lost it.
Movie tangent.
Oh yeah. So they go through the traditional, Sentai. Let's start doing this.
Wasn't there a black puma in the movie?
Yeah.
And then looked like Hitler. Why did he look like Hitler?
What was cool about the movie is that they did some transitions where it said like 5 15 so they went through a couple of like snippets of episodes where it showed like how it would have played out had it been a regular Sentai. Where there was a love thing between Hiromu and Yoko. No, thank you. None of that, please. Considering that in the universe, Hiromu's 19 and Yoko is 16. No, thank you. None of that.
Going on 17, but still.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
And then they introduce Green Hippopotamus, which is, they start off like a regular Sentai. They have the 5. Although Jay is the same. So...
he's still a robot.
The 4... Well, here's the thing... is the reason that all this happens is spoilers. The reason that all this happens is there's this weird enemy that comes in called Azazel. So traditional.
Isn't that a demon?
Yes,
Yeah, it's a demon.
A fallen angel. One of the original fallen angels, Azazel.
Brimstone. Wow.
He comes in and defeats the Go Busters, and Nick is apparently the 1 millionth person to die, and God, literally God, who looks like Enter, is the same guy, different hairstyle, has the glasses, but the goggles on the one side where it's usually
Enter.
It says God. He says, "You're a 1 millionth person. I figured you should get a wish." So he gives him a wish. He gives Nick a wish, and Nick wishes that the incident from 13 years ago never happened. So it didn't. What did happen was Nick gets brought back to life at the same time that Go Busters started. And what did happen was 10 years prior to that point, the Machine Empire Michaelius came around and started to become a thing. And so the Commander and Jin saw it happening and started to prepare. And it's a whole big thing.
I love that. That's
we
wonderful.
should watch this.
It's a really good...
I need to watch this.
Yeah, you have to watch Go Busters first, because like none of it makes sense unless you watch
I've already
Go
watched
Busters.
Go Busters, so I'm good.
Yeah. You can watch it. You cannot.
How bad is Ghostbusters?
Go
Go
Busters?
Busters.
Okay, here's the thing about this. This helped me feel like this was a Sentai. Up until now, episode 45, there was no feeling of Go Busters is a Sentai. I felt like Go Busters is a thing that is kind of connected to Sentai. After watching the Versus Dobutsu Sentai, it feels like a Sentai. Tokume Sentai Go Busters feels like a Sentai to me now. Finally, after 45 episodes and 3 movies.
Oh. Well then.
It finally feels like a Sentai.
I think that might be what we do of our week of ghostlessness is I will watch Go Busters.
Yeah.
No, watch the ninja to get caught up.
No.
Watching a ninja.
We'll watch. I promise to have at least 10 more episodes.
No, all of it. You have to watch all of it.
By next podcast.
You have to, yes. No, you have to watch all of it. You have to watch all of it so we can talk about it.
People listening, save me.
Anyways, so Nick makes the wish, and so instead of being spies, their whole thing is that they are Hiromu and Ryuji are teachers at an agricultural high school, and Yoko is a student, and so there's animals all over the place, so they become the Animal Sentai.
I love that.
Green Hippopotamus comes in, and then Green Hippopotamus dies. Like, they go through the episode thing, so he comes in an episode, they do another episode, and then the next one comes around. So there's like 10 episodes between those two, between when he comes in, when he dies, but he dies. And then Pink Cat comes in, but Pink Cat isn't Pink Go Buster.
The Phantom Thief, or
the Phantom Thief. It's actually Hiromu's sister. Is Pink Cat, and then
Does she still have her fear of machines in this movie?
Nope.
Okay.
They don't have their fears anymore.
So it doesn't freeze up anymore?
Hiromu doesn't freeze up around chickens. Ryuji doesn't overheat. He actually wants to get hot. And Yoko's on a diet. All of this to say, their suits are slightly changed in that the goggles have a white lining around them.
Okay.
For the 4 of them that are human. They have a white lining around them and teeth where their respective animals would have teeth. So Hiromu's got little fangs, and Ryuji's got big incisors, and Yoko's just got this one big tooth in her visor. And Jin has these weird like lines, because beetles, who cares what their mouth looks like. Jay looks the same, because Jay was the 999th person to die. So he came over with his same memories of the old universe, the old timeline.
I love
So he didn't look any different, but he still went with everything.
So let me get this straight.
Their whole thing,
Let me get this straight. He understood everything was going on. Like he
understood what was going on.
I died at some point.
Yep.
And I'm in a universe that's basically the same as mine, with a few differences.
Yep.
And he's not like, what the fuck is this shit? He's just like, I'm just gonna go with it.
Yep.
And just gonna roll with it.
But would you expect anything less from Jay?
I would not. That is my robot husband right there.
Robot husband.
All the husbands.
So
All the robot husbands.
and they do the normal like call out, like the jungle warrior and blah blah blah.
The cheetah, the field jumper, yellow rabbit.
Jay is the sap drinker. Because he just goes with it. He knows that that's not the way it's supposed to be, but he does it anyways. And then his pose, he's holding a can of Enitron.
I love him so much. Why is he so wonderful?
But he does the poses and everything. But at the very end, when both teams are together in the same universe, and they're both doing their roll calls, so Dobutsu Sentai goes first, and they do their roll call. And then Tokume Sentai does their roll call, but theirs is much shorter because it's a less traditional Sentai,
it's just the
so it's just their names.
Yellow Buster, Red Buster, Blue Buster.
Yeah. Beat Buster. There's Beat Buster, and then you see Jay run across him in front of him and say, Stag Buster. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I love him so
What the
much.
fuck, Jay?
So perfect.
You don't have to do this,
So
but you're
perfect.
doing
I
it
love
anyway.
him.
All that to say, there's some great characters in these shows, and Jay is one of them. I swear to God, he's not like my husband. He's Alex's husband, but he's a great character for sure. He's such an idiot. But he's a great character.
So
He's a
glad you
terrible
exist.
buddy roid. Terrible buddy roid. Great character.
That's what makes him so great, though.
Great comic relief within the show. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. Let's talk about. I want to talk about some other things. Let's talk about some Power Rangers, guys. Let's talk about some Power Rangers because there's some news coming around about Power Rangers. There's some great stuff.
Let me scream for 2 seconds.
Okay, Alex, you go first because I have a lot of things.
Let me tell you right now. I saw the cast list for the new movie they're making.
Yes.
And two things stood out to me. because I hooked them all up on that website. You can look up actors. I don't remember.
IMDb.
Yeah, I always mix up the letters.
The Internet Movie Database.
Really?
IMDb.
That's what it stands for?
Yes.
I just call it the actor website because it's how I look them up.
It's the Internet Movie Database. IMDb.
I'm bad at remembering anagrams like that. Anyway. So I looked them all up, and the female actors who are going to be yellow and pink, they always have the most experience. We see that from their more extensive list of gigs compared to the men. So they're going to steal the show.
The pink one, I think, has been in Empire,
She has.
She's been in a show that has like huge ratings.
Yeah,
like this is going to be great.
That's one thing that stood out. And two, this is just me because when I found out that Camille High was going to be the Pink Dino Charge Ranger, I flipped my ever-loving shit because
person of color, finally.
Because every single Pink Ranger prior to her has always been a blonde-haired white woman or an Asian woman, and it's because every single time they want to make the Pink Ranger the pretty desirable one, and I'm just like, okay,
but she's still the pretty desirable one.
She is
because she's gorgeous.
She is. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. She's your Instagram. She's got she puts a lot of stuff on there.
And so is Yoshi. To be fair.
Yeah, he is. Okay. Kind of dreamy of me. Okay, gross. Anyway, but it's one of those things that, like, they typecast the same kind of woman every single time for the Pink Ranger. So it's like, it's one of those things that, like, hey, maybe typecast a slightly different person because, you're kind of showing little girls that, if you want to be pretty, you got to be this. And so it's one of those things that, like, finally, a black woman, and just like, finally, thank you. In that regard.
Bitch, yes.
And then second, they're for the two actresses for
Yellow and Pink.
For Yellow and Pink in the movie. They're both women of color. One's Hispanic and one's I think Asian, right?
Indian.
Okay, never mind.
We actually have an Indian
nice.
woman playing a role, which is going to be really cool.
And actually, I'm sorry.
There's one white person on the cast. Red is white, which feels a little cheap, but. We do have
because like in other seasons they did a terrible job about diversity because like in SPD only the black person only Red was the black.
Okay, but he was black. He was red and he was black. And he was the leader and he was black, and that was a good thing.
That was a very good
And it wasn't the first time we saw it because Turbo, the second Red Ranger, Tommy was red and then he passed it off to
I don't remember his name, but he was
Anyways.
It's one of those things, and actually, I was wrong in Magic Mystic Force and right after it Overdrive, which is Bo Kendra Magic Ranger. Both those instances in Mystic Force, both women were Latina because they were sisters, and then Pink Ranger in Overdrive was Hispanic. She was Rosie.
No, she was Asian.
No, the character Rosie Perez.
She was Asian.
But how many Hispanics do you know and Asians do you know named Perez?
That's a good point.
The character was supposed to be Hispanic.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, the actress was Asian, but still, it was one of those things that, like, at least they try to diversify the team a little more, which is nice. But yes, I'm done with my screaming.
So speaking of the movie, that's all we know right now. We don't know anything else besides the cast.
They're doing it Mighty Morphin, right?
Okay, so there's been a lot of rumors flying around. There's been a lot of things happening. Saban has not said anything about it yet. Other than, here's the cast. Here's the cast, and this is the cast, and this is the people that are playing these parts. That's all that we have, is red, blue, black, yellow, pink. Now, that being said, that is the exact same color scheme as Mighty Morphin. That is also the same color scheme as a lot of different Sentai.
Because the constants are always red, well, except for, like, in Dino Charge, but the constants are always red, yellow, blue. If there's two more, there's always, and it's a pink.
They have been constants until this season. Dino Charge doesn't have a yellow.
Yeah, true. I said at the beginning, though. That's what I said. I mumbled it, sorry.
You mumbled it.
Okay.
You were like,
stop mumbling.
Sorry. But yeah, red, yellow, pink, red, yellow, and blue are a constant, minus Dino Charge, obviously, is the exception. And then if they have two more for the whole thing before they get a sixth, they always have either green or black and then a pink.
Yeah. So that is the color scheme of Mighty Morphin. It may follow Mighty Morphin. I don't know. I kind of want it to be a reboot of Mighty Morphin, and I kind of don't.
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Reboots never do very well.
It's really too early to tell because it's not even scheduled to come out until 2017.
Okay, sure.
So we still have a month left of 2015. We have a whole year to get through.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of things that have to happen.
What are the other black and pink Sentai teams?
So there was In Space.
Mega Ranger In Space.
Bokanger,
Sure.
Overdrive had that blue-black color scheme.
That pink-black, who else?
I can't remember. There have been others. There was Wild Force Gow Ranger, but they had white instead of pink, but she was kind of pink still.
It's because she was supposed to be a white tiger, and it's just like, then instead of black accents, pink accents. So it worked. What was that?
Probably the cat.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. No one's breaking into my house.
I've got a box cutter in here just in case.
Yeah, I know. So we'll see how it goes. It's really too early to tell. The only thing we know is the characters. We don't know any of the plot. We know rumors of the plot that it's Mighty Morphin. We know rumors that it'll be canonical with Dino Charge. We know rumors that it will not be canonical with Dino Charge. We know rumors that it will not be Mighty Morphin. That will be something entirely different. We know nothing. We know nothing but that these people are going to play these characters. And that's all that we have, and that's all that we can go off of, and I'm not worried about it. We'll see in the coming months what Saban comes up with, and we'll be super excited for it no matter what. Hopefully it won't be a huge flop like Turbo was.
Sorry.
True.
Power Rangers movies have a long-standing history of just being totally awful. But we do have a director that has been a huge fan of the series forever.
Who's the director?
I can't remember his face, but he enjoys Power Rangers. He has since he was a kid. So that's hope, at least, for something. Always bring in someone who cares. Like bring in for the new Star Wars movie, bring in J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
You bring in a Star Wars fan for a Star Wars movie, and you're gonna get something great. And you bring in a Power Rangers fan for a Power Rangers movie, and you can't help but hope for the best.
I nominate myself to direct the next movie.
Speaking of plot,
I'll vote for you.
Speaking of plot,
Thank you.
So as you and I know, Alex, and as you are learning, Nick, Cheetah Nick, there are some adaptations that follow very closely the plot, and there are some adaptations that just.
Are you gonna be salty about Megaforce again? Because if you are, let me know now.
I wasn't gonna start off with it, but since you asked.
Okay. Thanks.
No, like Mighty Morphin obviously was a way different thing than Z Ranger.
They didn't do Die Ranger, but they did use the
mecha
Zord footage.
So, but then the next season, Zeo, again a bit of a send off, but closer with keeping the Machine Empire together. They didn't change any of that. The next season, Turbo, a lot closer, although more serious in America, because in Japan their whole thing was car safety.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
I don't have any.
Find me one.
Too bad. And as we go through, there are some seasons that are really close. The closest that we ever got was Wild Force Gow Ranger. They followed it almost to a T.
Because I liked Mystic Force as a kid. I really did, just because I was Harry Potter nerd to the max. So I was like, hey, it's magic. So I'm gonna once I finish Decade, so I'm just watching the two current shows because I'm always watching two current shows, right? And then one extra one for for shits and giggles to keep myself entertained.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Magic Ranger.
I've got it.
And some of the other ones that I liked, like I liked Overdrive, so probably Bokanger as well.
Bokanger you will like even more because apparently Overdrive is a shit show and Bokanger was so much better.
I mean, I found this video that was literally every single Super Sentai henshin from the very beginning up until Tokyuja's pre-Rokugo.
Yeah.
And just the way they did their like the music to go with the transformation, how it was like super mystical, and then apparently they never mentioned this in Overdrive, which I think was shit. But their helmets are themed after their vehicles. I'm like, you couldn't have brought that up at all. You couldn't have had the vehicle like at least passing by in the background when they were morphing, because that would have been so cool to see the.
Yeah, it would have been. A lot of things would have been cool in a lot of shows.
So yeah, I'm going to watch Mystic Force, Mad Ranger, and Volcanger. Was that the cat? It is the cat. Because I like them in the American version, so I'm probably going to love them even more in the Japanese. Oh, and Deca Ranger.
So, the...
Something I want to say now. I'm not going to like the way Doggy Kruger is in the Japanese version. He looks like a poorly made fursuit, and at least he looked more organic in the American version.
Same. I feel that. I like Doggy Kruger more in SPD.
Yes. Just because he was at least more organic.
Howie prefers the Deca Ranger version. Howie is another friend of ours.
He looks like a cheap fursuit. It's horrible.
Howie's another friend of ours. He kind of likes Sentai. He's fallen out of it a little bit. He can't quite just sit down and watch shows. So whatever. I get him caught up occasionally.
He looks like a poorly made fursuit. At least Doggy Kruger in SPD looked more organic. You know.
Okay, but that is so much better than what we got with Hurricaneger / Ninja Storm, where Ninja Storm they had a little CGI hamster where he could like do things, but in Hurricaneger it was just an actual hamster. Or gerbil or whatever, and like if they needed to have like action shots of him, they created a little like gerbil that looked awful. And Saban learned from the mistake and just said, just do all CGI for the hamster bits. It's fine.
End my existence.
Yeah. But the closest we ever got was Gal Ranger. They carried it over pretty much 1-to-1.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing they added was the princess. But in Power Rangers, but everything else was 1-to-1.
They had the same theme, or Power from the Earth.
Even the enemies were named the same thing, yes. The Orgs. Well, they were orcs, I think, in Japan, and orgs here, but close enough.
I think it's one of those things that they wanted it for maybe trademarking reasons, because orcs and World of Warcraft and all that biz. I would date an orc.
Yeah.
Side note.
So my computer, my monitor shut down. Anyways, so, and the farthest we ever got, as we all know, infamously, Super Mega Force. Mega Force and Super Mega Force, really, because
Do you have Ghostager on the server?
I think I do.
Because I really want to watch that, just because like it has one of my other robot husbands, so you can't stop me. But yeah, I definitely do want to watch Shinkenger. I'm on the fence about Goinger because I never watched the American version, and I just
Goinger's so good, and it's so much better than RPM.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, isn't that kind of always the thing? The Japanese version, the Sentai version is always better than the Power Ranger version.
There's some Sentais that are less like Geki Ranger wasn't that great, but like Jungle Fury.
I'm gonna say it again. The red guy for Geki Ranger had a really wide head.
Yeah.
Like, he had a really wide head. I don't know if it's just the way that, I guess he just had a thin neck or something, but his head looked really, really wide. I don't know why it looked so wide.
So yeah, the plots are weird with Power Rangers and Super Sentai, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not, and most of the time it's not, which pisses me off, especially in these later years, in the years closer to now is what I'm trying to say.
Because one thing, as growing up, I really, really loved Lightspeed Rescue, which was Go-Go 5, and then when I found out that the Titanium Ranger, wasn't even in the original, I'm like, what? Then why'd they even add him? Was he just there because they needed one more person, or what?
It was more of the idea that since Mighty Morphin, they have had a sixth person come in. They've always had a sixth person come in, and Go-Go 5 didn't have that. They had a sixth sort of hero, but they didn't have a sixth ranger per se.
Okay.
And they felt like the American audience would be cheated out of not having a sixth ranger, so they created one.
Oh,
okay.
That's a thing.
But there wasn't any real footage of him.
So that's why there's only.
So there's 3 episodes with him.
Yeah, there's 2 episodes where you actually see him fight, and then he's away for the rest of it. Then he comes back at the very last episode and he fights in that, and that's it.
Thankfully, they did have an extra mecha in that.
Yes, they call it Solaris Megazord.
Yes.
I don't know what it was in the Go-Go 5 version.
I don't either, but they had that, so they just gave that to him.
Yeah, like that's what you control. You pilot that.
Which works, you know.
And they still got that in canon. Like, oh, when he's gone and he's not around to pilot it,
And that was
use the booster to control the thing without him.
That was a good place to put an extra ranger.
Yes.
What was not a good place to put an extra ranger was in
Fury,
Jungle Fury.
They made the shark bad. Oh, the cat.
You're so scared of the cat.
It surprised me. I'm sorry.
You're so
When they added the shark, bat, and elephant ranger.
Yeah.
Naughty kid, you scared
Which
me.
was unnecessary. But, you know. Okay.
Apparently.
I guess. So yeah, that was some fun stuff. With plot things. Plot things are weird. I hate it. I hate it so much. After watching Sentai and going back and trying to watch Power Rangers, it just... you gotta try and watch it as two separate shows, but it's the same suits and the same fights, so you can't.
And a lot of the same footage.
Yes, you can't separate it.
I'm gonna see how... and one thing is that in some of them they changed the props a little bit, because if you compare the original Henshin item, the brush thingy for the Shinkengers versus the one they use in the American version,
it's less of a brush and more of just
a phone that has
phone
that you can write things with an LED light. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
I do like one thing though, is that when they had the girl that was also the fire one, that in the Shinkenger was the princess, and I don't know what she was in the American version, but she did use one of those. She did use one of the normal phones that you flip it around and it becomes a brush and you draw with it.
I think one of the more egregious changes in this show at all is going from Gohan to RPM. Gohan Wings, very serious. They were secluded. They had secluded themselves, and they were Gold and Silver, very very serious people. And then Gem and Gemma from RPM, Gold and Silver, just they didn't care about like anything really. They were just like, oh hey, let's have fun all the time. Let's just have it's a party. Okay. Let's party. And it's there's some things you can change. There's some things that you shouldn't. And
I did see a GIF though of in the RPM version, the green guy doing his transformation. And he's like, what do we do about that behind me? And I guess their science person, he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, those giant explosions going on behind me. And she's like, oh yeah, that's just blah blah blah, some sciencey things I didn't really bother.
Extra energy that's just being expended
to clear your biofield. And he's like, so is this gonna blow up my kitchen and transform my kitchen? And she's like, I don't think so. I'm like, you don't think so? Did you see the size of that explosion behind him? That kitchen's gonna be gone, bitch.
Yeah. One last thing before we sign off. So I think next episode we'll see Maji Yellow.
Yes.
Did not realize this until last night. Maji Yellow is Jin Masato.
Yeah.
Beatbuster.
Gold. Yeah.
So we are gonna have two previous Go Busters who are not Go Busters in the Ninja.
And one of whom who is a Magic Ranger.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, there's also the guy who was Go and Wings. He was the gold one. He was a Yellow Ranger somewhere else.
Was he?
No. I'm sorry, no. It's the guy who played Gray in Dinosaurs.
Kyoryuger?
There we go, Kyoryuger. The guy who was Gray there, he was a Silver somewhere else.
Yeah?
That's what it was. Look him up because I know for a fact. Go Google away, my friend.
My
Keyboard somewhere else.
Keyboard's up on top of the whatever. I'll just do it this way.
I'm kidding.
I'm excited to get caught up on the Ninja.
Get ketchup? What about mustard?
I don't like mustard. You should see this by now.
I'm so hungry.
Alright.
I like barbecue.
So, Gray,
Tessai.
Masayuki Dai was in Bokenger.
Yeah, he was Bokenger. He was a Silver Bokenger.
Oh, that's cool.
And they kept it kind of similar in color-wise.
Yeah, when...
Wait, was he also in a Kamen Rider series? Look him up. Ow, ow, ow! Claws. Look right there. Masayuki Dai at the Kamen Rider Wiki, because apparently he was someone.
I don't know, dude.
He was the Trigger Dopant in Double.
Oh, that's cool.
No way. I knew he looked familiar. It's because they changed the color of his hair.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
It's because the hair color was changed. That's why I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is very cool.
Only Sentai actor to have played 3 separate characters. Huh.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so he played Tessai and Tessai's ancestor. Which is why he's only got 2 credits for 2 Rangers. So yeah, that's cool. So he was a 6th Ranger both times. Well, extra Ranger.
Well, 6th in Bokenja, then auxiliary in
yeah.
That's what I call them, auxiliary if they're...
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we've all noticed there is a... this has happened occasionally, where people will come back and do different...
Other characters in different series.
characters in different series. We're going a little long, so we're going to wrap this up. I'm probably going to talk about that next time. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, we are really going long. So yeah, next week we get Ghost Episode 5 with our real reveal of Spectre. We will get Ninja with Maji Yellow. We will get more cameos, because cameos are always great. But until then, guys...
sorry we took so long.
Yeah, sorry we took it so long. Hit us up on Tumblr, tokunewsnetwork.tumblr.com. Find us on our podcast, tokunewsnetwork.libsyn.com. Find us on iTunes. I just looked in my podcasting app and found our podcast, so it looks like it should be just about everywhere.
Yeah. Twitter at Toku News Network.
Yep. And Facebook, Toku News Network. Really, anywhere that there is social media, you will find us. Whether or not we will respond is a whole other question. Oh, and tokunewsnetwork@gmail.com. Please email us whenever you would like to ask us any questions. We would love to hear from people. We love everybody. And we will...
Are we doing a question of the month thing, everything?
Oh, yes. I haven't thought of one for this month.
I've got one.
You've got one. Great, let's go with it.
If you could have any previous Sentai member do a new character or a new color, what would it be?
Oh. Yes, great. So
we did have a lot of that just now.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you could have a previous yellow be a gold, who would it be?
Or like a previous red be a blah, or just someone coming from another show
Sentai to become a new one.
Something else. Let us know. Let us know, guys, in the comments on YouTube or on our website or at Twitter, at Facebook. Let us know any way that you want to. Just let us know. We would love to hear from you. But we will see y'all later. Bye.
See ya.